20. The focus of Chapter 20 is income inequality and poverty in America. Our goal to answer the following questions. How much inequality and poverty exists in our society? What are the problems measuring inequality? What are some of the leading philosophies on the proper role of government in altering the distribution of income? What policies are used to fight poverty? What are the problems with these policies? By introduction, in the absence of discrimination, the income distribution in a market economy may not be equitable or otherwise desirable. In this chapter, we examine the indicators of inequality and poverty, philosophies about income redistribution, policies designed to help the poor. 2014 data. The poorest Americans, the bottom quintile, made between under $21,430. The second quintile is between $21,430 to $41,166. The middle quintile would be $41,167 to $68,199. The fourth quintile, $68,200 and $112,253. Top quintile, $112,000, $254,000 and over. And the top 5% income earners make $206,563 and over. And we can see the graph of income inequality from 1950 to 2014. Inequality seems to have been declining from 1950 onwards until the mid-70s, after which income inequality has been growing ever since. And this is income share of the top 20% divided by the income share of the bottom 20%. And in this chart is income inequality around the world. Income share of the top 20% divided by income share of the bottom 20%. Poverty. Poverty rate is a percentage of the population whose family income fall below an absolute level, and that level is called poverty line. Poverty line is set by the federal government, and it's 3 times the cost of providing an adequate diet. Depends on the family size, and is adjusted every year to account for changes in the price level. In 2014, in the US, median family income was $66,632. The poverty line for a family of 4 was $24,418, and the poverty rate was 14.8%. Percent of the population below poverty line over time beginning with 1960. U.S. poverty rate by groups. All persons, poverty rate is 14.8. White, non-Hispanic, 10.1%. Black, 26.2%. Hispanic, 23.6%. Asian, 12.0%. Children, 21.1%. Elderly, 10.0%. Married couple families, 6.2%. Female household, no spouse present, 33.1%. Problems in measuring inequality. Data on income distribution and poverty rate is incomplete picture of inequality. Household annual income. It doesn't account for in-kind transfers, and that is transfers to the poor in the form of goods and services rather than cash. Data on income distribution and poverty rate. Number 2, normal life cycle pattern causes inequality in the distribution of annual income, may not represent true inequality in living standards. Life cycle, regular pattern of income variation over a person's life. People can borrow and save to offset life cycle changes in income, for example, saving for retirement. Number 3, transitory versus permanent income. Transitory changes need not affect standard of living. A family's ability to buy goods and services depends largely on its permanent income. And permanent income is a person's normal income. Economic mobility. Many people move among economic classes. Some reflect transitory variation in income. Some reflect more persistent changes in income. Many of those below the poverty line are there only temporarily. Political philosophy. What should the government do about economic inequality? Political philosophies of redistributing income, utilitarianism, liberalism, libertarianism. Let's take them one by one. Utilitarianism. Utility is a measure of happiness or satisfaction. So, utilitarianism, government should choose policies to maximize society's total utility. The founders or the thinkers behind this are Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill. Because of diminishing marginal utility, redistributing income from rich to poor increases utility to the poor more than it reduces utility to the rich. Yet, utilitarians do not advocate equalizing income. And this would reduce total income of everyone due to incentive effects and efficiency losses. Liberalism. The philosophy of liberalism is that government should choose policies deemed to be just by an impartial observer behind a veil of ignorance. The founder is John Rawls. The Maximin criteria. Government should aim to maximize the well-being of society's worst-off person. Liberalism calls for more redistribution than utilitarianism, though still not complete equalization of incomes. Income redistribution is a form of social insurance, a government policy aimed at protecting people against the risk of adverse events. Libertarianism is a philosophy that government should punish crimes and enforce voluntary agreements, but not redistribute income. Advocates are Robert Nozick. Libertarians focus on the process, not outcome. That government should enforce individual rights, should try to equalize opportunities. If the income distribution is achieved fairly, government should not interfere even if unequal. Policies to reduce poverty. Poor families more likely to experience homelessness, drug dependence, health problems, teen pregnancy, illiteracy, and unemployment. Most people believe government should provide a safety net, and we now consider a few such policies. Number one, minimum wage laws. Arguments for this law helps the poor without any cost to government. There's little impact on employment if demand for unskilled labor is relatively inelastic. Arguments against minimum wage laws include in the long run, demand for unskilled labor is likely elastic, so minimum wage causes substantial unemployment among the unskilled. Those helped by minimum wage are more likely to be teens from middle income families than low income adult workers. Number two, welfare. Welfare is a government program that supplements the incomes of the needy. They include temporary assistance for needy families, TANF, supplemental security income, SSI. Critics maintain that such programs create incentives to become or remain needy. Welfare contributed to the rise of the single parent family. However, the severity of such incentive problems is unknown. Proponents maintain that inflation adjusted welfare benefits fell as the single parent families increased. Number three, negative income tax. Negative income tax is the tax system that collects revenue from high income households and gives transfers to low income households. They include earned income tax credit, EITC, and is similar to a negative income tax. Number four, in-kind transfers. In-kind transfers, the goods or services provided to the needy. Examples include homeless shelters, soup chickens, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, SNAP, gives low-income families a plastic card that can be used to buy food at stores. Medicaid, government-provided health care for the poor. An alternative is cash payment. People buy what they most need, but critics argue could be used for drugs or alcohol. Anti-poverty programs and work incentives. Assistance from anti-poverty programs declines as income rises. The result, poor families face high effective marginal tax rates exceeding 100% in some cases. Such policies, therefore, discourage the poor from escaping poverty on their own. One possible solution is workfare, a system requiring people to accept government jobs while collecting benefits. In conclusion, poverty is one of society's most serious problems. Governments can sometimes improve market outcomes, and that public policy can help reduce poverty and inequality. People face trade offs, and so policies designed to improve equity often sacrifice efficiency. So the proper scope of policy is the subject of ongoing controversy. In summary, data on income distribution shows a wide disparity in our society. The richest 20% of families earn about 10 times as much as the poorest 20%. Problems in measuring inequality arise from in-kind transfers, the economic life cycle, transitory income, and economic mobility. When these factors are taken into account, the distribution of well-being is probably less unequal than the distribution of annual income. Political philosophies differ in their views of the proper role of government in altering the income distribution. Utilitarians believe that income distribution should maximize the sum of everyone's utility. Liberals believe the government should aim to maximize the well-being of the worst of person in society, of the worst off person in society. Libertarians believe the government should aim at equality of opportunity, not equality of income. Policies such as welfare, minimum wage laws, negative income taxes, and in-kind transfers can help the poor. Since financial assistance falls as income rises, the poor face high effective marginal tax rates, discouraging them from escaping poverty on their own.